Good morning. Today we're doing Module 2, Unit 1, Lesson 10, and today we are going to look at some of the tools that paleontologists use to discover fossils. So let's look at some vocabulary words that we could put up on our fossil word wall if we were in school. One of the words is discover. Now remember, if a word is hard for you, you can break it up into syllables to put it into its smaller parts. So discover, discover. Discover means you find something or you see or know something for the first time. So here's a picture. A paleontologist looks like he is trying to discover some fossils. The paleontologist tried to discover a new fossil. Can you use discover in a sentence? Great job. Another word is the word site. Site is a place in which evidence of past activity is preserved. So that means a site could be where a paleontologist found a fossil. The paleontologist hoped to discover a new fossil at the site. Let's look back at this journal entry that we found at the very beginning of this module. February 28th, 2012. We reached our site this morning. When I got out of the Jeep, I turned in a circle. What a beautiful place. There is a valley of rocky soil, a huge blue lake, and snow-capped mountains. The other paleontologists with me were excited too. We had heard about the site from a farmer. The farmer called our lab because he saw something very interesting in the ground. We were all wondering if this was the place we would make our greatest find. I grabbed my dusty backpack out of the back of the Jeep. I quickly checked to make sure I had all of my tools, a pickaxe, my brushes, and even my magnifying glass. I was ready. We began hiking across the sand, looking for the spot. We stopped at the bottom of a small hill. Was it here? I squinted my eyes and I looked carefully in the rocky ground. I took a few more steps. Was it here? Suddenly, someone saw something sticking up out of the ground. We all set our backpacks down and removed our tools. I really hope we find what we've come here to find. Okay, now we know he was a paleontologist. He was at his site using his tools to look for fossils. So our guiding question throughout this unit of study has been, what do paleontologists do? So go ahead and think out loud. What do paleontologists do? Okay, paleontologists search for fossils. They look very carefully and work very closely with these fossils to see if they can find out more information about our history. Learning target. I can answer questions about a paleontologist's tools using key details in the text, curious about fossils. Okay, so we are going to read in a new book today, and we're going to read about some tools that paleontologists use. Okay, so we are going to read this book. Now, this is a non-fiction book. Okay, so that means this is a true story. These are true facts, true information, curious about fossils. So because this is a nonfiction book, it's okay to skip parts of the book to go to the section that you want to read. Okay, so it's okay that we're skipping around. We're only reading a few pages of this book about fossils. Okay, so here's the first page we're going to read, and I will read it and then I'm going to show you the pictures. Paleontologists often travel by plane or jeep to remote places searching for fossils. I'm sorry that there's a glare on our page. When they find a good spot, the lead scientist must get permission to dig on the land. Then they must raise money for equipment, food, and shelter for the dig crew. A dig crew is made up of scientists and students. Sometimes people volunteer to help them, but they have to be ready to camp. So this is this is a photograph, and here's a caption that's going to tell us about this photograph. The caption says, "A Smithsonian Dinosaur Expedition in Shell, Wyoming." Here's some more photographs. This is at a dig site. Okay, look at these tools they're using. Today, paleontologists use computers in their work, but they also use many of the same tools that early fossil hunters did, including stone hammers and brushes. If a dig crew finds a large fossil, paleontologists may use a drill or a pickaxe and a chisel to carefully separate the fossil from a larger rock. They make detailed drawings of what the fossil looks like in the rock. That way they know the original location of all the fossil parts. Then, very slowly, they begin to chip away at the rock surrounding the fossil. When most of the rock is gone, they use small picks, brushes, and even toothbrushes to remove the dust and the rock bits. Photographs are taken at every stage. So you can see they have to be very careful, and they record all of their information in books. When the fossil has been safely removed, it is packed up carefully. It will be sent to a university or a museum for further study. Hopefully, a truck can make it to the dig site. If not, then the fossil crates are pushed and pulled on sleds until they can be more easily transported. Whole fossil skeletons are rarely found. Most fossils are bits and pieces that have to be put together like a puzzle. But each small bit is saved. It might be the missing piece of a bigger skeleton already discovered. So here are some more photographs. Here is the preparation tools. Here they are carefully wrapping up a fossil. This is a fossil field jacket. And all of these little pieces, these are bits of Stegosaurus bone. Okay, because it said they might be in pieces. Okay. So that's all of this book that we're going to read today. Okay, so now let's look at some of these tools that the paleontologists use to discover fossils. So here's a chart, and on our chart we have the tool picture, we have the tools that are used to discover the fossils, and how the tool is used. So one of the tools that we read about was paper and pencil. The paper and pencil is used to draw the fossils so they know its location in the rock. Another tool used is a drill. The drill is used to separate fossil from larger rocks. Another tool is a pickaxe and a chisel, and these are used to separate fossils from the larger rocks. And another tool is a toothbrush, and the toothbrush is used to remove rock and dust bits. Okay, so our learning target for this part of the lesson is I can write a supporting detail about tools paleontologists use to discover fossils. So this is what's going to be on Canvas. If we were at school, this would be in our notebook. But we are going to use the sentence starter. Paleontologists use blank to blank. Now, all of this will come together as a paragraph. Okay, but what you're going to be answering is paleontologists use many tools to discover fossils. This is your focus statement. Paleontologists use blank to blank. So this is where you're going to write an example of a tool and what it is used for. These tools help them to do their work. So here's my example. Paleontologists use toothbrushes to remove rock and dust bits. So I went back to my chart and I looked and I picked toothbrush. What's it used for? To remove rock and dust bits. If you want to use toothbrush, you can, that's fine. Or you can pick another tool. So you might say paleontologists use paper and pencil to draw fossils so they know its location in the rock. You might say paleontologists use drills to separate fossils from larger rocks. Paleontologists use pickaxe and chisels to separate fossils from larger rocks. Okay, so you can pick one of those and I'll have the chart on Canvas for you, but please be sure to write it in a complete sentence. Paleontologists use blank to blank. Okay, so go ahead and do that on your Canvas. Don't forget to use a complete sentence.